Hey everybody, this is Herschel Fruin doing the preseason rankings, just preseason rankings for 2017, and I'm at the number 3 pick, and I have Hamilton Boys. Now, when I chose Hamilton Boys and when I ranked them there just as a preseason thing, it was based on everyone being healthy and everyone being and all the players that I knew that were coming back. And so I got news that Rugby Willison is out for the season, and he is their first 5. And he, to me, he was going to be a New Zealand secondary school contender. And if you've seen him play, even last year, if you've seen him play, it's not really hard to understand why. Because he lets the game flow. He doesn't push anything that's unnecessary. He gets the ball to the right people at the right times. He doesn't overplay himself. He doesn't, he plays everything basically the way that you want it to flow. He's just a really good guy to have in there if you want a good flowing game that is set to the way that you want to play it. He's good on command. And because of his touch background as well, he's got a lot of good footwork that when situations do start to break down or he sees it breaking down, he'll be able to switch it up at the same time. So this number 3 ranking was based on him being the first 5. Now that I know that that I've got word that he's going to be out for the year, they have options. They're just not going to be as good as Reiki, but they're going to be solid enough that I know that they will still be in the top 10 even with him out. So they've got Caleb Muntz is probably the first guy that I would turn to. Caleb Muntz has been in the first 15 for 2 years now, so this will be his second year. He's a utility player, and I prefer him if it was going this way that is this year. I would prefer him to play fullback. Now that this injury has happened, I would put him at first 5. They also got a guy, Troy Hughes from up north, going to Boys High Hamilton Boys High, and so he would be another guy that I would probably look forward to. The best thing about this situation that we can take out of it is that Brad McNaughton is still there at halfback, which is going to help because I think that he's going to be able to set the standard and set it right straight from the ruck, mainly making sure that if Caleb is in there or if Troy's in there, that the ball is going to get to them fast enough that if they have to take just that little bit longer to make decisions, that time is there ready for them because of Brad and how he gets the ball out. Now, Tidor Crean is probably the guy that they would look for at second 5 to complement Quinn at centre. Quinn is going to be the main guy. If these guys want to win, Quinn's going to be the guy that the game should run through. If he is a decoy or if he's the main guy hitting it up, or if he's made, if you create plays where he's on the outside and just lets him sort of power himself off the weak shoulder, everything should run through him. Now the second 5 is the position that I feel that Quinn is better at. Now, if I was to choose the team, I would put Caleb at first 5. I would put Quinton at second 5. And then I would put someone like Shannon Wilson, who's usually a winger. I would put him in centre. Only because of his power that Shannon has, and that Shannon is really explosive off the mark, and he can pick up speed really quick. I think he would probably be a better person at centre, running off the decisions that Quinn makes for the team. If your first 5 is going to be new, I would rather that your halfback and your second 5 be the communicating people inside and outside of your new first 5. I would put not the pressure, but I would put the responsibility on to Quinn to say, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. Let's start this again and let's get back into place. Let him set the tone every single run or every single time he touches the ball. And so that would be my reasoning for doing it. I mean, Hamilton boys have lost a lot of players, especially with Rameka and Charlie Lawrence and Kieran Lee, guys that were really dominant in the backline with Xavier Rowe. So like, this is pretty much a new backline, but it's like the bench came on and now they're all starting. And so Quinn, I feel, will have to have the responsibility, and I would give him the responsibility, not because he's the superstar, but because he's the one that I would trust. He's been there for 3 years. You're the leader, so let's take the lead. That would be my mindset of doing it. Now, with the forward pack, it's going to be a new forward pack. They still have they have Jonas coming, Paul Mate coming up from the second 15, who's a really good player, and I think he was kind of unlucky to not play last year in the first team. Matt Kemper's back again, from what I've been told. They still have a lot of good other good props like Connor Burton and also Keelan, Holton McMullen. Caleb Warbank is back at hooker with Tane Akuda. Aruka. But the ones that I like, and so like what's happened is that they've picked up another guy, Charles Alamailor, who was at St. Bede's in 2015. Then he went to Melbourne, and now he's back. And now he's in Hamilton Boys. And for me, he is going to be a New Zealand secondary school contender at blindside. But for Hamilton Boys, he's probably going to be pushed into lock because of the lack of maybe size and not really height, because Josh Lord is there with Tom Martin, but with size and physicality. What that does is that it opens up the doors for guys like Dion Keogh. Now Joe Vucker's coming back. Tavita Faukafa, I think his name is, the Tongan boy at number 8. That would be something that would probably be thought about as well, and it makes space for them because I've got a lot of other guys. Braden Porteous, who's like a young fella. I think he's only year 11, but he's like an up and coming guy, and he's really, really sharp. Jake Russ is another one that was there last year at open side, and he'll probably jump in there too. And Raiki Ruawai is another kid as well. And so like they've got options. It's just making sure that those options and combinations are all put together well and put together where they work, instead of just having a whole bunch of talent that doesn't really connect. Hamilton Boys is going to do good regardless. They just have to figure out that first 5 combination and figure out what's the most comfortable to go with, and then run it through Quinn. My thoughts, run it through Quinn. But that is my preview for this preseason Hamilton Boys team. Remember, the next one, the official one's going to come out just before the beginning of the season, a week before the beginning of the season, and so likely everything would change. But that's my preview. Hamilton Boys, peace.